Hi guys, this is Sadek from DroidWin.com, and in this video, we'll show you the steps to install the latest crDroid ROM, which is based on Android 13, onto your OnePlus 70 as well as OnePlus 70 Pro devices. So let's get started. First and foremost, make sure to take a backup of all the data on your phone, and likewise, make sure you're on the latest Android 12 firmware. Once you have checkmarked both this requirement, then let's proceed ahead. So first off, you'll have to download and install the Android SDK platform tools. This is the official ADB binary given by Google and is required to execute ADB commands. So download it from the link given in the description and then extract it anywhere on your PC. In my case, I've done the extraction in E Drive. You could extract it anywhere you want. Once that is done, your next course of action is to enable USB debugging and OEM unlocking. USB debugging is required to execute ADB commands, whereas OEM unlocking is required to unlock the bootloader on your phone. So let's now enable both this toggle. So go to the settings menu on your phone, and from settings menu go to about device, then go to version and tap on build number 7 times. You will get a notification that you are now in developer mode. So go back, again go back, then go to system settings, and you should now see developer option. So go there and enable the toggle next to OEM unlocking as well as USB debugging. Once you enable the toggle next to USB debugging, you will get a prompt. Tap on OK, and then you will now get another prompt which asks for RSA fingerprint. So tap on allow. Likewise, enable the toggle next to USB debugging. In my case, I've already unlocked the bootloader, so it's grayed out. That's not a cause of concern. If you have yet to unlock the bootloader, then you should enable the toggle right away. Once you have enabled both these toggles, let's now verify the ADB connection. So go to the platform tools folder address bar, type in CMD and hit enter. This will launch a command prompt window with the platform tools folder directory, as you could see. So now type in ADB devices and hit enter. Make sure you are getting a serial ID. If you're not getting a serial ID, then disable and re-enable USB debugging on your phone. Apart from that, tap on revoke USB debugging, and you should also use the official USB cable that came with your phone or the one that supports ADB connection. Likewise, make sure to use the USB 2.0 port on your PC and not the 3.0 port. So try out these USB tweaks and make sure you're getting a serial ID. Once you're getting a serial ID, you're good to go ahead. So let's now move over to the next step, and next up you'll now have to download the ROM recovery and GApps file. So grab hold of them from the link given in the guide. The GApps is common for both this phone, whereas ROM and recovery are different, as you might have assumed. So get hold of this file and then download and place the file in the platform tools folder directory. As you could see, this is the ROM file, and this is the recovery file, and this is the GApps file. Now once you have downloaded both these files and placed in the platform tools folder directory, you should rename it to something shorter so that it becomes easier to type in the command window. So for the sake of convenience, let's rename this file to ROM. So the file name becomes rom.zip. Similarly, make sure the name of the GApps file is just GApps. Yes, about GApps, it is an optional file. If you want Google Apps, then only download it, otherwise leave it. In our case, we will be installing the GApps as well. So make sure to rename it to GApps. And in the case of recovery, simply rename it to recovery. So the complete name will become recovery.img. The ROM and GApps are in zip format, whereas the recovery is in img format. So once you have renamed all these three files, let's now move ahead. Next up, you will now have to boot your phone to the Fastboot mode. So let's get started. For that, open the command prompt window inside the platform tools folder and just type in the ADB reboot bootloader command and hit enter. This will boot your phone to the Fastboot mode, and the process will only take a few seconds. So let's wait for the time frame. So as you could see, our device is now booting to the Fastboot mode and it's booted. Next up, let's verify the Fastboot connection. So type in Fastboot devices and hit enter. Again, make sure you're getting a serial ID. If you're not getting a serial ID, then you will have to install the Fastboot drivers. The link for that is given in the description. You can go and check out that guide and then install the Fastboot drivers. Once that is done, you should be getting a serial ID over here. And similarly, open the device manager by right click on the Windows icon and select device manager. Then expand the Android phone section. Just a minute, let me show you. So expand the Android device section and make sure your phone is listed as Android bootloader interface. This signifies that your phone is booted to Fastboot mode and your PC is able to identify the device. So make sure your phone is listed here as shown Android bootloader, and it's also giving out the device ID as shown here. If that's well and good, then your phone is booted to Fastboot mode, and your next course of action is to unlock the bootloader on your phone. Do note that this will erase all the data from your device and could also nullify the warranty. So if that's well and good, then type in the command of Fastboot OEM unlock and hit enter. You will now get a prompt on your phone. So use the volume key to select unlock the bootloader and hit the power key to confirm. Your device will again boot to the OS once the process is completed. So from the OS, again type in ADB reboot bootloader and your phone should boot to the fastboot mode. However, if this command is not working, then you could also use the fastboot flashing unlock command and hit enter. You will get a prompt on your phone. Select unlock the bootloader and hit the power key to confirm. You will again be booted to the OS. So use this command to boot to the fastboot mode. And once you're in the fastboot mode, verify the fastboot connection and then make sure that it's showing unlocked next to device state, as you could see in my phone. So if that's well and good, then you have unlocked the bootloader and you're good to go ahead. So next up, we'll now have to install the recovery file, crDroid recovery. So for that, we'll have to flash the recovery to both the recovery partition. So you just have to copy paste this command. Just make sure you have renamed the recovery file to recovery.img. As you could see in our case, we have already done that. So we could simply copy paste this command and the recovery file will flash to both the partition. So let's flash it to the A partition first. So just copy paste this command and hit enter and re-verify that the name of recovery file is recovery.img, as you could see from here, and hit enter. Once that is done, similarly again copy the command for the recovery slot B and paste it in that window. And as you could see, we have done for the recovery slot A. Let's now flash it for the slot B. So copy paste this command and hit enter and wait for the process to complete. It should take a few seconds. So with this, we have flashed the recovery to both the recovery partition A and B. Once that is done, we will now have to boot our phone to the crDroid recovery. For that, you may either use the volume keys to bring up the recovery mode option and then press the power key to confirm, or you could also use the command. The command is fastboot reboot recovery. So you could also use this command and your device will now boot to crDroid recovery. It should only take a few seconds for the device to boot to this recovery. So let's wait for the time frame. Once the device is booted, as you could see, our device is now in the crDroid recovery. So you will now have to reset your phone. This will remove all the data. So make sure you have taken the backup beforehand. So now go to factory reset, then select format data factory reset and tap on format data. Now wait for the process to complete. It will take a few seconds. As you could see, we are now getting a data wipe complete message at the bottom left of our screen. So once you have done, let's now install the crDroid ROM. For that, go to apply update, then select apply from ADB. With this, your phone is now in the ADB sideload mode. Now bring up the command prompt inside the platform tools folder and you just have to type in ADB sideload followed by the name of the ROM. In our case, we have named the ROM to simply ROM, as you could see. So type in rom.zip and hit enter. The sideloading will now begin and it could take up to a few minutes. As you could see, the process has started. Since the ROM does not come with GApps inbuilt, so the process will be somewhat faster as compared to Pixel Experience ROM, because that ROM has the GApps inbuilt. In this case, there is no GApps, so the process will be somewhat faster. Anyway, it could take around 5 to 6 minutes. And since we are discussing about sideload, let me show you something as well. While the sideloading is going on, in some cases, the success message is usually shown in the form of. Okay, so let me show you one more thing. While the ROM is being flashed, let me talk with you regarding one more important ADB sideload process. So let's suppose when you flash any ROM via the ADB sideload, and so let's me pick up any custom ROM video. In the meantime, let me show you the process. The ROM is being sideloaded. So let's wait. Yes, so I'll be discussing about an important ADB sideload command and the result. So when you are sideloading a file using ADB sideload command, in most cases the output is usually shown along the line of total x for 0. As you could see, the most of the time you should get total transfer in 1 into 0. This signifies that the sideload is successfully completed. However, in some cases you might also see a message along the following lines, along the following 4 points, such as ADB failed to read command. If you get any of the 4 messages as well, then it also signifies that the sideload has been completed successfully. There is no need to worry about anything. In short, all these 5 commands signify the same thing. All these 5 messages means that the transfer has been completed successfully and there is no cause of any concern. Moreover, whenever you are sideloading any ROM via the ADB sideload process, it might get stuck at 47%. That 47% is when usually the signature verification happens. So whenever by signature verification, we means that when you are sideloading a file which is not from the same developer who has built the recovery. For example, if you sideload the Magisk app using crDroid recovery, since Magisk app has not been developed by crDroid developers, so you might get a signature verification failed message. I'll also show you how to bypass this message, but as of now we are flashing the crDroid ROM using the crDroid recovery. So as of now you will not get any error message on your phone, but when we will be sideloading the GF package, then you will get a signature verification message, because the GF developers are not the same as crDroid developers. So in that case you will have to bypass the error message. I'll show you in the subsequent section. As of now, the side loading might get stuck at 47%, but that is not any cause of concern. It will, as of now you could see it's currently step 1 of 2. So at 47% the step will change from 2 of 2, and then the process will proceed ahead. So you will have to wait for the time frame. As you could see, our process has been completed. In our device bottom left screen you could see install completed but set as 0, and in the CMD window we are getting total transfer 1 in 2. Apart from that, you might also get any of the following messages. This signifies that the process has been completed successfully as well. So once that is done, you will now have to reboot your device to recovery. If you want to flash the GFs as well, if you do not want GFs, then you could easily boot to the OS. So in short, if you do not want to flash any other files such as GFs, then tap on reboot system now. On the other hand, if you want to install GFs, which we will be doing now, we will have to reboot our device to recovery once again, so that the slot partition changes. So go to advanced and select reboot to recovery. Our device will once again boot to the crDroid recovery, and the active slot will become inactive and inactive will become active. So this slot partition change is necessary if you are flashing any other files. So let's wait while it's rebooting to recovery. It should only take a few seconds. So our device has been booted to recovery, and now we could install the GFs file. So go to apply update, and from apply update, okay, so as of now we have to use the volume keys. So use the volume down key to select apply update and hit the power key to select, and from that again press the power key to select apply from ADB. Now your device is in the ADB sideload mode. So bring up the command prompt window inside the platform tools folder directory, as you could see, and make sure the GF package is present in the platform tools folder itself, and it has been renamed to GApps. If that's well and good, then just type in ADB sideload followed by the name of the file, which is gapps.zip, and hit enter. It will now begin the process of sideloading the GF file, and this time around you might get a message of signature verification failed around 47%. As told you before, this is only happening because the GF package has not been verified by the crDroid recovery. In fact, if you sideload any file which has not been verified by the developer, you will get this error message. For example, if you flash, even if you are flashing Magisk or something along the following lines, you might get, in this case we haven't got any message as such. So this means that the GF package has been verified by the developers, so that's well and good. We have one less step to worry about. So once that is done, we are now done with the process, and we could now proceed to boot to the OS. So just tap on reboot system now, or use the power key to select reboot system now, and now your device will boot to the newly installed ROM. The first boot up usually takes up to a few minutes, so that is completely normal. And so let's wait for the time frame. The subsequent boot up will not take that much time. Only it's the first time we are booting up with the new OS, so it will take a few additional minutes. In some cases it could take up to 2-3 minutes. So that's not a cause of any concern, and we'll have to wait for the time frame. So this is the crDroid boot animation, as you could see. So let's wait while that is happening. In the meantime, let me show you, recently I have written one more guide. Regarding this guide, you could easily go back to the stock ROM from the custom ROM using the Fastboot enhanced tool. So if you are interested in that, you may check out that. I have written a video as well. I have made a video and written guide as well, that using the Fastboot enhanced tool you could easily go back to the stock ROM from any custom ROM. This has been tested on OnePlus 7T as well as all the OnePlus 7 series devices. So if you ever want to go to stock ROM, you always have the MSM tool option. But apart from the MSM tool, you could always use this Fastboot enhanced tool as well if you do not want to interact with EDL mode. So while the ROM is booting up, let me show you my guide if I am able to find. Yes, so this is the Fastboot enhanced tool method that I'm talking about. You could use. So guys, our phone is now booted to the ROM. Let's now complete the setup and show you the OS. Well, as of now, the touch is not working in my phone, as you could see. So let's now take one more route. I have read somewhere that in some cases the touch does not work after flashing the crDroid ROM. This has only happened with a few users, and as of now I belong to that slot as well. So we'll now have to take a slightly longer route and rectify this issue. So for that, I'll be giving the instruction as well. We have to carry out these steps. And so as you could see, we'll be taking the help of pixel experience recovery. Yes, we'll be taking a help of pixel experience ROM, and with the help of that ROM recovery file, we'll be flashing the crDroid ROM. Let me show you how all this could be carried out. So if the ROM is working well and good in your case, if the touch is working, you could go and proceed ahead and close this video. On the other hand, if the touch is not working in your phone, as is the case with mine, let's proceed ahead and rectify this issue. So first and foremost, you will have to download the pixel experience recovery. So from my link from the guide of crDroid, I have linked this somewhere. Yes, so just open this link. I'll giving the link in the description as well. So go back to the pixel experience guide, and from there go to the download section, and you just need to download the recovery, not the ROM file. So download the recovery corresponding to your device from the link given here. So let's download the recovery for the Android 13 Plus. If you are using GApps, then download the Plus edition. If you're not using GApps and using a minimal, you can use the 13 itself. For now, let's use the 13 Plus edition, and then expand the section of date and just click on download recovery image. It will now contact the server, and the download should take only a few seconds. So download has been started. So let's wait for the time frame, and it should take only a few seconds to complete. So to rectify, just to reiterate the facts, currently the touch is not working on my phone, and I'm using the pixel experience recovery to rectify this issue. So by now the recovery might have been downloaded. So it's getting downloaded. So let's go to the platform tools folder and wait for it to happen. So as of now, the file is just about to be downloaded. 2 seconds left. So the pixel experience recovery. So if you get any prompt, tap on keep to save that image, and now transfer the recovery file to the platform tools folder itself on your PC. So let's copy the recovery file from here and transfer it to the platform tools folder. This is the platform tools folder. Let's paste it over here. And once you have done so, let's rename it to something shorter. Since we already have a recovery file, let's rename it to PE recovery. So it stands for pixel experience recovery. So rename it to PE recovery, and the entire will become PE recovery.img. So we have now done the rename, and the file has been placed in the platform tools folder. Once you have done that, we'll now have to boot our phone to the recovery mode. So let's again take the help of volume and power keys, because touch is not working and we cannot execute any ADB command at this stage. So we'll have to take the help of volume and power key. So as of now, let's press the power, volume up and volume down, all the 3 keys together for around 10 to 15 seconds, and let's see what happens. So keep on holding these 3 keys, and let's now wait and see what happens now. Our ultimate aim is to boot our phone to the fastboot mode, so we could flash the pixel experience recovery. So currently I press the power, volume up and volume down keys, all the 3 keys for around 10 to 15 seconds. And let me see where our device gets booted. So as of now, my phone has been turned off. So that's not an issue. You could again press the power, volume up and volume down keys for around 15 seconds. And this time around, your phone should boot to the fastboot mode. So let's wait. As you could see, so when you are stuck in the home screen of the ROM where touch was not working, so we pressed the power, volume up and volume down keys for a few seconds, and our phone got turned off. Once it was turned off, we again press the power, volume up and volume down keys, and after that we are now booted to the fastboot mode. So next up, we'll now have to flash the pixel recovery to boot the recovery partition A as well as recovery partition B. So just copy paste these commands and make sure. So in our case, the name of the recovery is PE recovery, as you could see. So let's rename the command as well. I'll be giving all the command in the description. You could simply copy paste it from here. So let's now first flash the pixel experience recovery file to slot A. This is the file to flash to slot, and hit enter. It will take a few seconds to flash. Similarly, you should then flash the file to the slot recovery partition slot B as well. So you could see the flash A to the recovery partition slot A is successful. Now let's flash it to the partition B of recovery as well. So again, do so and hit enter. It will again flash the recovery to both the partition. Once that is done, we'll now have to boot our phone to the pixel experience recovery mode. For that, you could either use the power keys to bring up the recovery option and hit the power. You could use the volume key to bring up the recovery option. Let me show you. You could use the power key, bring up the recovery option, and then press the power key to confirm. Or you could also use the simply fastboot reboot recovery command, and your phone will now boot to the pixel experience recovery. We have replaced the crDroid recovery with pixel experience recovery. So our phone should now boot to the pixel experience recovery and should only take a few seconds. So let me show you the process. And once our phone is booted to the, as you could see, it's in the pixel experience recovery. So from there, we will now have to flash the crDroid ROM using the pixel recovery, because according to me, there was something wrong with the crDroid recovery itself. So let's use the pixel experience recovery to flash this ROM. So for that, we'll again be using the same sideload process. So use the volume keys to bring up the apply update option and press the power key to confirm. Again, select apply from ADB and press the power key to confirm. With this, your phone is now in the ADB sideload mode. You will now have to simply execute the command ADB sideload followed by the name of the ROM file, which in our case it's rom.zip. As you could see, it's the crDroid ROM that we are flashing. So type in ADB sideload rom.zip and wait for the process to complete. It will take a few seconds. Rather, it could take up to a couple of minutes because we are flashing a ROM file over here. So this was the first time when I had any issues with this ROM. Apart from that, I never faced the issue with the Pixel ROM or the Lineage OS ROM. Similarly, I've also flashed the Project Elixir ROM. All these ROMs were based on Android 13 and there was no issue whatsoever. So an issue of such a large magnitude proportion on which the touch is not working, and it's a stable release as well. So it's quite surprising to note that we are getting such a issue in a stable release. Anyways, let's check if this issue gets rectified by the workaround that we are using. Just to reiterate, we are now sideloading the ROM zip file, and you could keep a track from here as well, and on your phone it will show step 1 of 2. And as before, the process might get stuck at 47%. That is not a cause of concern. The flashing is still going on, and similar to before, crDroid does not come with GApp, so we'll have to flash the GApp package on our own. So since it does not have any GApp, the flashing should not take much of a time. So let's wait for the time frame while that's happening. So as you might be aware, we are having this issue after installing the official crDroid Android 13 version 9. And as told you before, I have also flashed a few other custom ROMs such as Pixel ROM, Lineage ROM, as well as the Project Elixir ROM, and across all these 3 ROMs there was no issue as such. And in this ROM we are getting quite a difficult issue to deal with, but hopefully we should be able to bypass the issue using this nifty workaround. If we are able to bypass this issue, then I'll also update my guide and provide you with all the instruction. All this thing will be given in the guide, and the link to this guide will be given in the description. So please go to that guide and check out all the steps, and the issue should be rectified. Moreover, I don't think that everyone might face this issue, because some of the users were able to successfully install the ROM without any issue, but there was a handful of students or users. For them, they were facing a issue regarding the touch screen, and similarly I was also going through the same issue, so we had to rectify this issue. So keeping a track, currently the ROM has been flashed to 39%, and you might get stuck at 47%. That's not a cause of concern. The flashing will pause for a few seconds and then it will resume. Currently, as you could see, we are now on step 1 of 2, and we are now reaching the 47% mark. So let's wait for the time frame to happen. Just to recall, we have currently flashed the pixel experience recovery on top of crDroid recovery, and then we have flashed the crDroid ROM using the pixel experience recovery. So it has now reached the 47% mark, and we should wait for around a few seconds. So as you could see, we are now getting a total export message 1 into. This means that the transfer has been completed and the ROM has been flashed successfully. Once we have flashed the crDroid ROM in the recovery, let's now reboot our device to the bootloader, or in other words to the fastboot mode. So for that, use the volume key to select apply update, or rather go to advanced option and press the power key to confirm. Then from that, select reboot to bootloader. Make sure you are selecting bootloader and not fastboot. Fastboot stands for fastboot D. Here we are accessing the fastboot mode, so select reboot to bootloader and press the power key to confirm. Our device will now boot to the fastboot mode, and once that is done, we should now reboot our device to the recovery mode once again using the fastboot reboot recovery. And this time around, it should boot to the crDroid recovery. So let's verify for and check out the results. So we have just executed the Fastboot reboot recovery command. So let's see what's the current status. So as you could see, we are now back to the crDroid recovery via the Fastboot reboot recovery command. Once that is done, you will now have to format the data. This will remove the encryption. So let's go to the factory reset option. So as you could see, the touch is once again working in the recovery. So hopefully it should now work in the ROM as well. So, but let's not assume and let's wait for the process. So go to the factory reset, tap on format data, and again select format data. Now wait for the process to complete, and as you could see, we are now getting a data wipe complete message. So now go back, and once we are done, we could now reboot our phone to the OS. So just tap on reboot system now, and let's now verify this time whether the touch is working or not. So up until now, the journey was quite long. So what we did, we initially flashed the crDroid recovery to boot the recovery partition using the command, as you could see, fastboot flash recovery A and recovery B. After that, we then sideloaded the ROM, and once we have did the side load, after that we again rebooted to recovery and flashed a GF, which is optional, and then we booted our phone to the OS. But upon booting the phone to the OS, the touch was not working. So to rectify that issue, we booted our phone to the Pixel Experience Recovery. We flashed the Pixel Experience Recovery to boot the slots. So as you could see, we have now got the startup screen as well. So this is something different from last time. And let's now hit the start button. So thankfully the touch is now working. So let's complete the setup, and let's also tap on next. SIM card missing, not an issue. As of now, I'm skipping the initial setup screen and we'll take you to the OS itself. Face setup, let's skip the face setup itself. Also skip this password, skip gesture navigation, next, start. So guys, with this we have successfully installed the crDroid ROM on our OnePlus 7T. So just to show you, this is the settings icon, system. This is the updated app. You could update from here as well. And we are using this on our OnePlus 7T phone, as you could see. So guys, this was all from this guide. So just to recall what we have all done, we first flashed the ROM via the normal way by flashing the recovery to both the slot. Initially, we flashed the crDroid recovery to both the slots, and then we have booted our phone to the crDroid recovery. Then we flashed the ROM file, crDroid ROM, and then we flashed the GF file. Once that was done, we rebooted our phone to the OS, but the touch was not working. And also, you might have noticed, you could also go back to the video, that during the initial screen, the setup was something different than what we got now. It was not the official crDroid setup, but some setup of the earlier kind when we used to flash the Android 8 or 9. I guess it was from the earlier Android OS version. And at that screen, the touch was also not working at all. So we pressed the power, volume up and volume down keys, and with this our phone was powered off. So we once again pressed the power, volume up and volume down keys, and with that we booted our phone to the fastboot mode. From the fastboot mode, we flashed the Pixel Experience Recovery to boot the recovery slot A and slot B. After that, we booted our phone to the Pixel Recovery, and we then again flashed the crDroid ROM using the Pixel Recovery. Once that was done, we used the Fastboot reboot recovery command to reboot back to the crDroid recovery, and from that we factory reset our phone using the crDroid recovery, and then we booted our phone to the OS. And this time around, as you could see, the touch is working well and good without any issues as such. So guys, this was all from this video on how you could install the crDroid on your OnePlus 7T and OnePlus 7T Pro. If you have any queries, do let me know in the comment section. And guys, please subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks. Thanks a lot for watching.